Tonight on the Pioneer Sideline, we take a look and see how the volleyball and soccer teams are doing. Then we look at the rugby team and see their progress too. After that, we finish with the case of the week, all that and more as we go down to the Pioneer Sideline. Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline. I'm your host, Chris Hoffman. Let's jump right into this. Women's soccer was in the action again. Kyle Anthony has the report. Kyle, what do you have for us this week?
We had a couple players receive some awards because of their play against Eastern Oregon University and KIC opponents Berea College and Midway College. Junior midfielder Kara Kowalski was named the KIC Women's Soccer Offensive Player of the Week. She earned this award because of the two big goals she scored against KIC opponents Berea and Midway. Another Pioneer who also received some love was junior defender Angie Abel, who received the KIC Women's Soccer Defensive Player of the Week because of the hard work she did getting 2 shutouts against Berea and Midway. After the Pioneers got those awards, they had an out-of-conference game against Geneva College. The Pioneers' win streak, along with their shutout streak, ended because the Pioneers dropped the game to Geneva College 4-2. The Pioneers started off slow, and Geneva was able to get 2 goals within the first 10 minutes, with the first goal coming a little over 5 minutes into the game with the goal by Rita King, and not even a minute later, Caroline Wright putting the Golden Tornadoes up 2-0. After just 22 minutes, Emily Lever cut the deficit to 1. But just seconds later, Geneva pushed the deficit back to 2 minutes into the second half. The Golden Tornadoes pushed the lead to 4-1 after Caroline Wright got a goal just 3 minutes into the second half. The Pioneers answered back to make the score finish 4-2 after, in the 84th minute mark, Carol Betham Pioneers got the goal. The Pioneers were outshot 9-6 with shots on goal led by Emily Lever, in the Pioneer with 3 of those. The Pioneers' record dropped to 3-5, but they are still a perfect 2-0 in KIC conference play. They had 2 games this week, the first of those being an out-of-conference game against the Roche College that will be played at Highmark Stadium. The second game will be another out-of-conference game where they would travel to Westminster College.
Thanks for that.
Swing your leg when you're talking.
Okay. Kyle, you look at this team here and the women's team. Wait, okay, sorry, let's start that again. Kyle, look at the women's team here, and you see they play a couple rough out-of-conference games. They get a big win there a big loss against Geneva. How do they really recover? Because they haven't really been scoring that many goals a game this season.
Well, I mean, their defense has always been there, but the thing they really need to do is continue to get more shots on net. They've been very sporadic with that. They've had some games where they've had a bunch of shots, but against Geneva, we saw them not get so many, and that kind of really hurt the team. So the best thing for this team to do is get more shots on net and create some opportunities for themselves.
Now, how do you go create more opportunities for yourselves? We've seen in conference they're able to do that, winning all their games in blowout fashion, winning them 2-0 and 3-0. But out of conference, they really haven't been able to get it done. We just saw there only 1 goal again, and most of the scoring has been from Kowalski or Kuntz. They haven't really got too much done outside of those 2 players.
Well, I think they need to just keep getting the ball to the players that get a lot, like Kuntz, Kowalski, then Tokarski, and then some of the players like that who've been getting all the shots and who've created opportunities for themselves and other players.
Kyle, you look at the week ahead here. The Pioneers are once again playing out of conference. What do they need to do to really get themselves a big out-of-conference win against Westminster and La Roche this week?
Well, I think they just need to keep playing good defense and create those opportunities. Keep the ball in the other team's zone, feed it to the net, crash the net, and don't turn the ball over with offsides and stuff. They just need to play smart soccer.
All right, thanks, Cal, for your analysis on the women's team there. Now we're going to go into our men's soccer analysis. And for that, we have Kelsie Metzgar stepping in for Tim Hardy this week. Kelsie, what did you see out of the men's team this week?
The men's Point Park soccer team faced West Virginia Tech and won 3-1. A big contributor was Max Flick, who had a goal and who also had an assist in the game. The winning goal was scored by Dominic Canello, who now has 5 goals on the season. Another goal was made by Columbia. Also, Derek Wetton had a solid game, having 6 saves and 1 goal against him. They then went on the road to face Shippensburg, and they took another loss. The loss was 2-0, and Point Park has not been doing so well on the road with a 0-2-1 record. The goals scored against the Pioneers were by substitute Jeff Ballard, who scored the eventual game winner in the 60th minute and also scored off a rebound later in the game. Their next game will be on Wednesday against Houghton on the 25th.
Now, Kelsie, you look at the Pioneers, you say they really haven't been getting it done on the road. Why do you think that is? I mean, this is a team, they only have a couple wins, but they're all at home, and they're on the road. They haven't won it yet.
You know, I just think that they're really struggling on the road. I don't know if it's their chemistry, and I don't know. They're struggling to score, and they're relying on several players, and it's just not working for them, at least not right now.
Now, this is a team last year. They made the NAI National Tournament. This year, they're below 500 at this point in the season. What do they need to do to really turn it around?
Well, it's definitely a disappointment if you look at it so far this season. You know, like you said, they were a tournament team last year, and they really need to bring it and step up their game this season. You know, they have to score more. They can't just rely on Canello. They have to really bring it each game, and they have to get something going.
Now, they have a few more out-of-conference games this week, and then they start playing in the conference. Kelsie, what do they really need to do to get their foot in the door? Because if they're going to repeat and make a deep run in the KIAC and eventually, hopefully, the NAI National Tournament, what do they need to do to put their foot in the door?
Well, I think these conference games that you just brought up are definitely key. I think they'll be a tough match for Point Park, but if they want to make that conference tournament run this year, these conference games are really going to test them coming up, and that's their foot in the door, and that's the way that they're going to make it there.
Thanks, Kelsie. After the break, we'll have Zach Aaron in studio to break down the week that was for the volleyball team. We'll be right back after this.